Alright guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Crank Addict and this is the channel for crank addicts like me and hopefully like you. It's been a while since I've done a video because I've been messing with this Jeep Grand Cherokee behind you. But today, I'm going to do a short video on modifying the center console for the K5 Blazer. Yeah, so this is my daughter's 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee V6 with a nag 1 transmission, and this nag 1 transmission took a crap. I went ahead and pulled it out, replaced the oil pump, which was in about 6 different pieces. It was pretty bad, and reinstalled it, but it's still having some real issues. So I think Monday or Tuesday I'm going to take it to a local mechanic and see if they can't scan the computer, see if it has any codes on it, and then kind of go from there. I really don't want to have to rebuild the whole thing, but I will if I have to. And of course you guys can see my new lift I got for the garage. This is about a 2005 model, so it's almost 20 years old. I picked it up from this guy that was going to a 4-post. It's a floor crossover model as opposed to the crossover being on top, but when you don't have a whole lot of height on your ceiling, that's pretty good. So anyway, that fits really darn well in this garage, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's about as good as it gets. So anyway, on to the Jimmy. All right, but enough of that Jeep. What you guys want to see is this bad boy. The Jimmy is coming along pretty well. You can see that the paint is mostly done. I'm going to redo the hood. I didn't like the way it turned out. So I got the bumpers on, markers on, lots of trim on. I still need to put the side trim on the Jimmy. Yeah, let me get a little further back here. Goodness. Okay, there you go, in all of its glory. Here's the hood I'm going to redo. I guess it looks pretty good in this light, but it's actually just a hair bit darker than the rest of the Jimmy. I think I put a third coat on the hood, and I should have stopped at 2. Yeah, live and learn. Anyway, Jimmy's looking real good. Tires looking good. Got some 35s ready to go on there instead of those 33s. Got the rear bumper on, the trim is on. All this little fancy trim, these window guides and weather stripping, all that stuff is done. GMC. On this panel here, it's a little dinged up here and there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, yeah, you can see it. The dings. I just hit it with some sandpaper on a DA sander, and got a fingerprint over here. I'll have to wipe that off. And it looks pretty good. Not quite the same sheen as from the factory, but I'll go with that. Hard to find those things for a Jimmy, so it is what it is. But yeah, we're getting close. Hopefully we'll be able to get this thing on the road pretty soon. I am currently working on the windows. As you guys have probably heard, I am converting this to power windows. One of the things I didn't mention, when I chop these doors, you got to put another screw hole right here for these window guides. And if you don't have the original guides, just kind of take your full-size door guides and just chop them off at the door there. It'll be good. It all works. That's how the factory did it. They just chopped them off. But you have to re-weld this tab. This tab normally, this thing usually attaches up here high. What is that, a fly? Goodness. This thing usually attaches up high, so yeah, the tabs are a little different on that thing there. Here's the original guide here, so you can see how much higher that bolt is compared to this bolt there. So convertible, truck, convertible, truck. Or you can say 75, 76 Blazer, 75 Blazer, 76 Blazer. Anyway, that's what that is. So yeah, I'm converting to power windows, power locks. I'm gonna run the power window controls around and go to the console here. Quick sneak peek on the console, looking good. And yeah, I'm excited. We're getting close. So if you haven't subscribed, you better hit that subscribe button. Alright, so I already removed this top section from the center console. There's the bottom piece that goes down here, and of course the lid. And the issue, of course, are these funky little seat belt buckle holders. Back in the day, you weren't required to wear your seat belt, and so if you needed a place to put your seat belts, you just kind of drop them in there. And this, of course, is the ashtray section here. So these days, you have to wear your seat belt. You can't be driving around with your seat belts stuck in this storage compartment here. So I'm going to change this into something more useful. So I went online and I bought from Amazon a couple of these jumbo size cup holders. These are about 4 1/4 across. The inside diameter is 3 3/4. So I'm going to try to stick these cup holders where those seat belt holders used to be. So the first thing, of course, is this is the simplest thing. I take this little bezel off. This bezel has all these little twist tabs. You get to them from the underside here. And you just got to be real careful. Twist them straight and you can pop them back out. Try not to break anything because, you know, this stuff is all money these days. Money, money, money. And then you remove this little top piece here. There was a little glue holding it down, but honestly, after 50 years, it came off pretty easy. All right. So I'm going to take this thing here. I'm going to trace this out in some more steel. This looks like about, I don't know, 16, 18, maybe 18 gauge steel. And I'm going to trace this out, and I'm going to cut some 3 3/4 inch holes in there. Bam! And through the magic of TV, here we go. Alright, so this is going to sit right there on top. These cup holders are going to drop in. Now these are a little bit oversized. If you see, they kind of gap the metal a little bit. So that's going to be an issue because it's actually going to bump into my bezel a little bit. Whoop. But I've got a nifty little belt sander down here, and I'll just flatten out the two different sides here, kind of squish it down a little bit. It'll be golden. Alright, so with my new 3 3/4 inch holes cut, I can go ahead and mark my console for the next cut. I'm going to have to remove some of the stuff in here. You can get to a lot of it from underneath there. I'm just going to take a Sawzall and buzz that off. And then I'm going to go around and try to trim away the extra with the die grinder. And then we'll see how this thing fits. Dusty. Make sure you're wearing a mask for this, guys. Lots of fiberglass stuff. Lots of fiberglass. Alright. So now you can see how this stainless cup overruns the bezel. So I'm going to mark this with a little tape, and I'm going to take just a little bit out of that. Alright, let's see how this looks. You drop it in place. Might need just a hair bit more. One more time. Okay. There we go. That matches up with that bezel well. I'm going to have to do the same thing with this back corner. Whew, warm, but that should do it. All right, I'm going to repeat it over here, and then I'm going to go ahead and repair this. Cover the whole thing in vinyl. I think I'm going to do like a little carbon fiber wrap for the bezel. And that's it. If you enjoyed this video, the short video, give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. And of course, you guys can see my new lift I got for the garage. This is about a 2005 model, so it's almost 20 years old. I picked it up from this guy that was going to a 4-post. It's a floor crossover model as opposed to the crossover being on top, but when you don't have a whole lot of height on your ceiling, that's pretty good. So anyway, that fits really darn well in this garage, so I'm pretty happy with that. That's about as good as it gets. So anyway, on to the Jimmy.